shovelware has been this constant, never-ending problem over the last few years. It's been really, really bad, especially, I would say, on the Nintendo Switch eShop. I can't just go onto the eShop, for example, without seeing a bajillion hentai, quote-unquote, games, and I don't know if these games actually show nudity. I know some do and some don't, and I haven't really looked into it because I don't buy these games. But if you go onto something like the Nintendo Switch eShop, for example, and you just start perusing through it, you will notice that there's a lot of quote-unquote hentai games. For example, you will see like hentai farm girls or hentai beach girls, or all of these shovelware titles that are made by basically the lowest possible denominator, aka AI, and just people that are just trying to basically get a cheap buck out of, I'm assuming, very horny prepubescent teens. I don't know who these games are for, I don't, but there's a lot of them. There's a lot of shovelware, and it's not just like hentai games. There's a lot of, for example, games with like the jumping bean on the PlayStation 5, or the jumping coffee bean, or the jumping banana, and the jumping igloo. It doesn't really matter. The point is you get it. There's so many of these games, these shovelware AI created video games that are just oversaturating the eShops. It doesn't matter if it's Nintendo or Xbox or PlayStation. Even Steam has a ton of them now. It's a huge and growing and never-ending problem, and it seems to be getting worse. Now, there is some good news, and this is why I'm talking about it now, is that Sony seems to finally be able to start cracking down. There was this company in Germany, and I'm not going to give you the company's name just because I don't want to bring any more attention to these douchebag companies, because they're awful companies that are just screwing over a lot of people and just putting out a bunch of shovelware and ruining an ecosystem for everyone. It's a scummy thing to do for the sake of making a quick buck, in my opinion. But anyways, yeah, there's this company out there that's basically existed since 2022. And in 3 years, how many games do you think they put out on PlayStation 5's storefront? Just take a guess. 10? 15? It's shovelware titles. Maybe 100, because, they do put out quite a lot of them. No. They put out over 1,000 quote-unquote video games in the last 3 years. Over 1,000, guys. That is an insane number, and thankfully Sony seems to be catching on to this, and I do hope other companies like Nintendo and Microsoft and whoever else will catch on to this too and start blocking them, because that is what they are doing, is they are blocking this company now, and they can no longer put any of their games over onto the PlayStation's storefront. But here's the other problem with this, and this is why it's a problem, is these companies don't really care what their name is as a quote-unquote company. They will literally just trademark and create another company, take these games, and re-put them back on the storefronts. And I've actually seen this happen, like I said, through Nintendo's eShop and whatnot. And it's just infuriating. And here's the worst thing about this, and this is something that I don't know if anyone's aware of, but I'm sure there's people have reported on it. It is YouTube after all. Is that sometimes they'll take a game that's just a stupid game. Let's say it's Super Sexy Ninja Girls, right? Then they'll take a game like that, and then they'll make different editions of said game. So they don't just release Super Sexy Ninja Girls. There's now Super Sexy Ninja Girls Definitive Edition. And then they'll release it again, and this time they'll call it the Gorgeous Edition, the Deluxe Edition, the Ultimate Edition, the Super Sexy Edition. It doesn't matter. They'll put just a different quote-unquote edition in the title so they can re-release it and put it to the front of the storefront again in an attempt to get more people's eyes on the product. And if you go onto Nintendo's eShop, for example, and you just look up any of these games, you can usually see that there's like 10 to 11 different editions of the exact same game on the eShop. Because again, these companies and these people and these douchebags, they do not care about the quality of their product. They're just trying to get people dumb enough to buy said product, and they'll put them on sale. So instead of it being a $9.99 game or whatever, it's only $1 or it's 50 cents, and they'll just keep repeating this process. And it's infuriating because, like I said, it kind of ruins when you're just perusing and browsing through the eShop or through PlayStation Store or Microsoft's, and you just want to find some hidden gems or some genuine, crafted video games that come from diehard people that just want to make video games, and all you're seeing is hentai booty lickers, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, man, it ruins the experience, and they're ruining gaming in a way, and I hate it so much. So here's hoping that, Nintendo, Sony, Steam, whoever it is, finds ways to make this less obtrusive. I mean, you can't obviously block all the shovelware titles possible, but it would be really nice if they found a way to make it harder to just put their games out on their ecosystem. Something's got to happen, man. It's gotten so out of control, and I wish I could say it's gotten better over the last couple of years, but it really feels like it's just gotten worse and worse. It's getting to a point now that it's honestly making me not want to go look through eShops and, their storefronts, just because of all these titles just taking over everything, and it's just making it that much bigger of a pain in the butt to try to find anything that I'm looking for, or to find something new and interesting. I just got to deal with 50% of the market, it feels like now, that I see is just shovelware products, and it's a huge disappointment in my opinion. Anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about. Just wanted to bring this up because I saw this on Spawn Waves thing. You kind of brought it up to the news thing, and I just thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about shovelware in general. Let me know if you've had any experiences with the shovelware problem that is invading all of video games. It's just kind of sucks right now. It's like we already have enough to deal with. The last thing I want is just to have scumbag, quote-unquote, game developers and publishers make these shovelware titles, use AI-generated crap, and just constantly feed these into the market. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let me know any comments you guys have down. Thanks for listening to this, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye!